Welcome back to Ancient Wild TV. Today we're diving into the Cretaceous Period, or as some call it, the Chalk Age, the age when dinosaurs reached the peak of their power, and also the age when these ancient kings were betrayed by fate. With Pangea disappearing, the Cretaceous period stretched from about 145 million years ago until its dramatic end 66 million years ago. If historical records are accurate, then the Japanese imperial dynasty is the oldest hereditary monarchy in human history, enduring for a staggering 1,083 years from 660 BCE to this very day. Coming in second is the Zhou dynasty of China, lasting about 800 years. When viewed in the context of human civilization, these numbers are near the pinnacle of what emperors throughout history have dreamed of: an everlasting legacy, an empire that lasts for millennia. But when compared to the 135 million years that dinosaurs reigned over Earth, using nothing but their raw, untamed power, all human empires, even the most enduring, are but a drop in the ocean. The term Cretaceous was coined by Belgian geologist Jean Domalius de Halloy in 1822, inspired by his discovery of vast chalk deposits in the Paris Basin, formed by layers of calcium carbonate originating from the shells of invertebrate organisms. This also reveals some of the natural characteristics of this time period: warm ocean temperatures and high sea levels that inundated what is now the interior of many continents. It's estimated that at its height, 1/3 of the landmass was submerged. By the Cretaceous, the vast supercontinent Pangea had essentially split into continents that resemble their current forms, although their positions were markedly different. The southern supercontinent Gondwana had only begun to slowly break apart in the Jurassic period, but by the Cretaceous, this process accelerated. By the end of this period, South America, Antarctica, and Australia had completely separated from Africa, leading to the formation of the South Atlantic and Indian Oceans. The tectonic movement also raised oceanic mountain ranges along geological faults, contributing to rising sea levels globally. The Tethys Sea, located north of Africa, continued to shrink, moving towards its northern sibling, Laurasia, until about 77 million years ago. North America was still divided by the Western Interior Seaway, a massive inland sea that separated the continent into Laramidia in the west and Appalachia in the east, a division that persisted until the end of the Cretaceous. On land, the throne remained uncontested. Dinosaurs still dominated every piece of land they roamed. However, due to the fragmentation of Pangea, the distribution of dinosaur species became more varied than ever before. In the early Cretaceous, lasting from roughly 146 to 100 million years ago, Europe, North America, and North Africa saw a population explosion of armored Ankylosaurs, whose bones had evolved into turtle-like armor, as well as the duck-billed iguanodon and the long-necked brachiosaurs. They may have been prey to theropods or meat-eating dinosaurs, including the spiked Spinosaurus and the shark-toothed Carcharodontosaurus. In Asia, medium-sized predators like theropods from the Maniraptoran group thrived, including egg-stealing Oviraptorosaurs and the swift-running Dromaeosaurs, represented by the infamous pack-hunting Velociraptor. The serrated-toothed Troodon, which bore an uncanny resemblance to birds, coexisted with herbivorous giants like Ankylosauria and Ceratopsia, notably the parrot-beaked Psittacosaurus. In Australia, the Ankylosaurs and duck-billed dinosaurs continued to showcase their survival prowess, becoming dominant creatures. By the late Cretaceous, from roughly 100 to 66 million years ago, dinosaurs had formed three major groups. In North America and Asia, theropods were led by the Tyrannosaurs, including the largest terrestrial predator to ever exist, the mighty Tyrannosaurus rex, alongside smaller Maniraptorans. Their prey consisted of herbivorous ornithischians such as hadrosaurs, ceratopsians, ankylosaurs, and the dome-headed Pachycephalosaurus. In the southern continents, once part of Gondwana, Ankylosaurus and Titanosaurs were the dominant carnivores and herbivores respectively. Meanwhile, in Europe, smaller species like Dromaeosaurs, Rhabdodon, and Nodosaur were the most populous. In the skies, a revolution was brewing. Pterosaurs continued to rule the heavens until the mid-Cretaceous. However, over time, their numbers and diversity began to decline. Some theories speculate that competition from birds was responsible for this decline, while others argue that there is insufficient evidence since their habitats didn't often overlap. Regardless, the Cretaceous marked the clear emergence of a completely new group of flying creatures. Those with feathers. From the end of the Jurassic, a subgroup of feathered theropods known as Maniraptora began to evolve into true flyers, collectively called Avialae. The most well-known of these was Archaeopteryx, often fondly referred to as the primitive bird, the ancestor of all modern birds. By the Cretaceous, the wings of Avialae had evolved significantly, gradually losing dinosaur traits such as sharp teeth and clawed wings, while developing features like a stiffened tail culminating in the pygostyle, a fused tailbone structure supporting feathers. Curious about where the pygostyle is? It's not hard to find. It's the part we usually discard when chopping up a chicken, the tail. Their expanded pelvis allowed them to lay proportionally large eggs, and their large breastbones facilitated the powerful flight muscles they needed to conquer the sky. By now, their wings had lost the ability to grasp, simply because it was no longer necessary. Under the sea, however, another kind of terror reigned supreme. The Cretaceous saw the incredible diversification of ray-finned fishes known as Actinopterygii, particularly the teleosts, whose descendants today make up about 96% of all modern fish species and nearly half of all vertebrate species. Cartilaginous fishes like rays and sharks were also flourishing. Echinoderms, such as sea urchins and starfish, were thriving. And of course, the ammonites, ancient shelled invertebrates, were as lively as ever, with their shells contributing significantly to the chalk deposits that gave the Cretaceous its name. While survival in the Jurassic oceans was already tough for ichthyosaurs and plesiosaurs, the Cretaceous brought a new nightmare. The Mosasaurus. The first discovered fossil, and the most dangerous of its kin, Mosasauridae, derived its name from the Latin word for the river Meuse, Mosa, which flows through Maastricht, the Netherlands, where the fossil was found in a limestone quarry in 1764. Even before the first dinosaur fossil discovery in 1822, Mosasaurs hunted across the world's shallow seas, and any creature unlucky enough to wander into these waters became their prey. Even the formidable Tyrannosaurus rex and the pterosaurs weren't safe from these aquatic giants. There were many different species of mosasaurs, some as small as 3 meters, but the largest could grow up to 17 meters. They were true sea demons, equipped with everything they needed to thin the population of any species weaker than themselves. A powerful jaw with conical teeth capable of crushing the toughest prey with a bite force of over 5 tons, a sleek body reducing water resistance, short limbs turned into flippers, and a massive tail that provided rapid bursts of speed, eliminating any disadvantage their large size might have caused. Then, extinction. One ordinary day, some 66 million years ago, the dinosaurs looked up and saw a streak of light cut across the sky. It grew larger and larger over time, until finally it became clear. An asteroid was hurtling towards Earth at a speed of 45,000 miles per hour. Within hours, it slammed into the planet at what is now the Yucatan Peninsula in Mexico, leaving behind a crater 12 miles deep and 112 miles wide. The energy released by this collision was estimated to be 5 billion times that of the atomic bombs dropped on Hiroshima and Nagasaki, unleashing shockwaves that swept across the entire Earth, wiping out life within thousands of miles from the point of impact. But that was just the beginning of the nightmare. The collision awoke volcanoes from their slumber. Lava and scalding ash spewed forth from the fiery mouths of these giants, combining with the heat generated by the impact to raise global temperatures by tens of degrees Celsius almost instantly. Following the blaze was a tempest of storms and lightning, burning ancient forests, creating scenes akin to a vision of hell. The impact shattered even the deep ocean floor. First, the sea pulled back, only to return as a towering wall of water. A tsunami a kilometer high, lasting months, even years. Temperatures began to drop, plummeting to freezing levels. The sun's light could no longer penetrate the thick, dark clouds. Rain brought not only water, but also ash and debris hurled up from the catastrophic collision. Lush vegetation, the towering trees of countless species, if they were lucky enough not to burn, began to wither without sunlight for photosynthesis. Those colossal dinosaurs that had somehow survived the initial impact began to die out, succumbing to the cold or starvation. Just like that, the ancient kings were abandoned by fate. This is the scenario that most scientists agree upon as the cause of the Cretaceous extinction, the extinction that ended the reign of the dinosaurs. The dramatic temperature shifts wiped out most of the large reptiles almost immediately, being ectothermic creatures heavily reliant on their environment's temperature. Those that survived were faced with a dire lack of food. Large herbivores starved quickly due to the destruction of plant life, which in turn led to the extinction of carnivores that hunted them. Around 3/4 of all plant and animal species vanished completely after this cataclysm. The survivors were mostly small creatures that were highly adaptable and capable of feeding on anything left over. Insects, birds, fish, crocodiles, small lizards, turtles, snakes, and small mammals, descendants of cynodonts from the Triassic period, lived in the lower vegetation layers, hiding in burrows and eating ferns and insects, which allowed them to survive this cataclysm that brought down the giants. The wheel of fate began to turn once more. A new cycle had begun, and only time would reveal the next rulers of Earth.